What up? It's Jimmy from odds.com. This is a clip from our big NCAA basketball show. To check out the entire show, hit the link at the bottom of the screen. It's available exclusively on odds.com. We move on. 7 p.m. Eastern, UNC Asheville Bulldogs, 9-8, 8-4 in the Big South at Winthrop. Eagles, 15-0, 12-0 in the Big South. We're at Winthrop Coliseum in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Winthrop opening up as 11.5-point favorites. No movement there. The movement is on the total. I have an opener at 157.5. That's all the way down to 153 at some books. So big movement there on the total. It's just after midnight here on Thursday, January 28th. So we're trying to keep you ahead of the market move, but as Max said, there's value that's been lost on some of these lines. Let's start with UNC Asheville coming off back-to-back home games versus Radford on Sunday and Monday. They won the first 70-68 in overtime, lost the second 73-63. They closed as 3.5-point favorites in both games. They were badly out-rebounded in both games. In Monday's 10-point loss, not one starter scored in double digits. Only production was coming off the bench. Leading scorer Tajon Jones was held to 7 points. He's averaging 16.4 points per game. Backcourt mate Devin Baker missed the first 11 games of the season and is now clearly back in the flow of things, averaging 21.6 points per game over his last three. They shoot 46.9% from the field, 35.6% from three, and here is another team in the Asheville Bulldogs that struggle from the stripe at just 61.2%. Winthrop is rolling, undefeated on the season, coming off winning at Presbyterian on January 19th and 20th by double digits each night. Very deep squad. We've talked about it here on this show. 11 players averaging double-digit minutes. They're led by Chandler Vaudrin, fills the stat sheet, 12.6 points, 6.9 boards, 7.6 assists. His 32.3 minutes per game are 8.2 minutes more than their second most played player. They put up 82.9 points per game. They shoot 47.7 from the field, 35.9% from three, and 69.1% from the stripe. Max, well, smart. We head to the Big South for your second game on the card. UNC Asheville, Winthrop, take it away.
Yeah, listen, Jim, I'm going to say right now 155 was the number that I was really trying to get on one side or the other on. I think that when you look at this number now at 154.5 and 153.5, there is definitely an urge in me that I want to be able to take an over in this situation. I know what UNC Asheville is capable of doing, but on the other hand, I also know what UNC Asheville is capable of doing. Well, Asheville definitely isn't back to being their potent offensive self of last year. They do have Devon Baker, but the problem with Devon Baker being in the lineup now is now you've really tried to separate this team into two different groups. You have LJ Thorpe, LeVar Batts, and Devin Baker playing a little bit together, and then you have Jamin Battle, Trent Stempney, and Tyjon Jones for the most part playing together as your three backcourt guys. So personally, I think that this is a problem. I think that this really gives one unit the opportunity to shine versus the other instead of both of them doing it in the same game, which is something that Winthrop has mastered and been able to manage flawlessly. That's definitely evident by the amount of weapons that they have, whether it be Devarier Lane, whether it be Josh Corbin, who plays limited minutes yet is tied for the most three-point makes on this team with Charles Falden. So when you play both of them on the floor together, there's just so many offensive advantageous situations that you can be in. But the problem with Winthrop is Winthrop has played well through conference season. They've done a really good job of winning games. But when we look at the numbers, they haven't been cashing, 16s, 15s, 12s. Nothing's been really working. I haven't really seen a number that fits. So when it comes to this game, I think that obviously the way that I'm looking is I'm expecting a Winthrop smash, a Winthrop freaking beatdown against UNC Asheville. This is a team that you're competing with for the conference crown, and you're also competing with Radford, which you'll have to deal with at a later date. I think that with this UNC Asheville team, they do give you the perception that they're going to be very offensive, they're going to be very effective. But the bottom line is this team kills their own momentum with fouling. And sometimes it's unnecessary. There needs to be a lack of threes coming from certain guys. And I think that with Devon Baker back in the lineup, that's the one guy you want shooting the three. I think that with Tyjon Jones, if he can hit his first couple, he's going to have the momentum to keep on going. But with UNC Asheville, there are things to like as well. One of the things that I've noticed by watching Asheville and being like a box score junkie is that they have improved their free throw shooting over the last couple games into the 70+% range. And I think that's a big strength that they can utilize in this matchup, because on the offensive glass, where they do have a very noticeable weakness, not having really any usable size, with Cody Jude and Ethan Claiborne, they're just not really your prototypical pieces. And versus guys like DJ Burns, they're not really going to be able to guard him. So I think that obviously fouling is going to be at the forefront of what they need not to do against this Winthrop team, because Winthrop, what they do well is they shoot volume free throws. And if they get more than 25 free throw attempts in this game, they're going to win this game, and they're win this game by margin. Another part of winning this game and covering this number for Winthrop is being efficient from the three-point line. You're going to put up a lot of them. That is plain as day to see, but you got to hit 10 plus in order to cover this number. On the offensive glass, they have about a 6 offensive rebound advantage. I think that's going to really play to truth, and I think that may expand. With Winthrop, their key is Chandler Vaudrin. Chandler Vaudrin is probably one of the only guys that's actually had a 20-point game on this Winthrop team all year. And I think that with Winthrop, ball movement and lots of bodies coming in and out is something that a lot of other teams in the conference just cannot deal with. The swarming defense has to be active. I think it's going to be, although this total has moved a bunch, it still fits a couple of my favorite Josh Applebaum systems. 45% plus shooting field goal teams against each other, you look towards the under. A total in the conference in the 150s that moves down more than 1 point, you look towards the under. And with Winthrop, this is a spot where it's a potential route, and when you're routing someone in conference, you're probably locking down on defense, and that also plays towards an under. So I'm going to take the under, Jim, in this game, and I'm going to take Winthrop.
Well, BetMGM's hanging the 11.5 with just minus 110 juice. So let's start there. We'll give you Winthrop minus 11.5 at minus 110. It's available at BetMGM. Then from a total perspective, Circus moved this all the way down to 152.5. So that's the lowest that I've seen anywhere. Bet365 has this, does not have this one up yet. Okay. And then let's just go over to odds.com, because they also have a couple other books here on their odds page. Okay, so they just have right now with this game, they just have BetMGM and FanDuel. So we're not getting the best options for you, Max. I want to find you like a 154.5, and I can. We can get you a 154.5. Wow. At BetMGM, how did I? Yes, we can. 154.5. Not only that, but how behind is MGM right now? It's minus 105.
Lock it in, Jim.
Let's
Don't refresh. Lock it in.
That is refreshed.
Okay, good.
154.5. They're just behind right now on the movement in that one. Under 154.5 at minus 105 at BetMGM. That was refreshed 90 seconds ago. So that's